Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Welcome to your Spanish 2. I'm Professora Coleman and I hope you find this video with the PowerPoints helpful for this exam coming on the 30th. So we're going to talk about the preterite. Preterite means action words that happened only once. In 1120 you learn about the present, how to use AR verbs, ER and IR in Spanish in the present tense. Remember the ending for the AR, yo como, tú comes, ella come, etc. I'm going to show you now how we are going to be using the preterite. But first, what is a preterite? Action. A preterite action is an action that is terminated or completed in the past. It is also an action that occupies a limited period of time. For example, yesterday I went to the movies from 9 to 10. Also is a specific and indicated time, like yesterday I went to the gym at 8 a.m. So it was preterite actions. Our actions are in the past, are actions that were finished, actions that were finished, actions that were terminated, but actions, most importantly, that you need to remember that happened only once in the past. How do we use the preterite with the AR verbs? Remember all of that list with the AR verbs, tomar, caminar, estudiar. We are going to have the stem changing. We know the stem changing is the first part of the verb that it comes out from the ending. In this case, we need to find the ending, and tomar, AR is the ending. As you can see here, we have AR, that is the ending. And then what is left, it is called the stem. Tom is the stem. As you see in the yo form is tom, and the U form is tom, that is the stem. Tom and everybody and all the subject pronouns, tom, okay. What is left? It is called the ending. Well, that ending, the AR, we are going to switch it in the preterite. When I want to say I drank coffee, I need to say yo tomé, tú tomaste, él, ella, usted tomó, nosotros, nosotras tomamos. In the vosotros form, in Spain, they say, tomasteis, that is an optional part. Okay, I'll go back here. Nosotros tomamos, nosotras tomamos. Ellos, ellas, ustedes tomaron. Ustedes tomaron. Ellas y ellos tomaron. So, that is the ending that we need to remember. It doesn't matter what kind of AR verb you have. It can be tomar, estudiar. You always need to remember the endings. You keep the stem like tom. Remember, the stem is what is left, like here in my other conjugation. Conjugation is when we use the verb according to the person that is doing the action. So I have my stem in green color and I have my endings. If you memorize the endings, it's going to be easier for you to remember. Do not forget the accents. Accents in preterite tense. Actions change the meaning, okay? So, tomé, yo tomé café, tú tomaste café, él tomó café, ella tomó café, usted tomó café, nosotros, nosotras tomamos café, ellos, ellas tomaron café, ustedes tomaron café. The ending, aste, o, amos, asteis, aron, is going to be very, very important for you in your exam. If you remember these endings, you will know how to conjugate and how to write sentences. Okay, so we'll keep going. Don't forget the accent is very, very important. Examples. Yo tomé el autobús al supermercado esta mañana. You see, I'm switching my AR for the E with the accent because it's yo. And I keep the stem. Elena tomó un refresco en la cena anoche. Elena is the O with the accent. Don't get confused with the present because in the preterite, in the past action words, we need to change the AR with the O with the accent. If you don't add the accent, you will say tomo, and tomo is I take in the present. So you need to have the accent to identify that it's tomó. She did. She drank un refresco en la cena anoche. Los estudiantes tomaron un examen ayer. Those are few examples of how to use the AR verbs in the preterite. Let's see the ER, like comer, remember, beber. So, the same thing, we keep the stem, but we are going to memorize. You need to memorize the endings. Y, iste, yo, imos, isteis, yeron. Yo comí, tú comiste, usted comió, él, ella, usted comió, nosotros comimos, vosotros, as in Spain, comisteis, ustedes comieron, ellas comieron. If you memorize these endings, you will be okay. It doesn't matter what ER verb you have, you will know how to conjugate it, how to use it in the preterite. Don't forget the accent. Y, iste, yo, imos, istes, yeron. Yo comí frijoles envueltos en una tortilla. Comimos en la cafetería de la universidad. Try to practice sentences using the verbs. In all of this list of verbs, you have it, and I'm going to be posting it. You can choose any of the verbs that you have in the list where I have ER verbs. I have the number, also the page number in your book, if you want to review the present tense, but you will have, the main thing is that you know the meaning as well. Then we have the IR verbs like vivir, to live. Same thing, we keep the stem, and we have y, iste, yo, imos, yeron. Do you notice the ER and IR endings have the same ending? So you remember, if you memorize the ER, you're going to be fine remembering the IR endings in the preterite. Yo viví en México hace mucho tiempo. Don't forget your accents. Viví en Perú por 3 años. ¿Viviste en Guatemala alguna vez? Mis abuelos vivieron en Florida toda su vida. Don't forget the accent in your endings. Okay, so we know the nosotros form, and the AR is the same in the preterite as in the present tense. Oh, yes, do you notice that? Nosotros estudiamos, bailamos, vivimos en Nueva York ahora, vivimos en Perú. We have endings, like buscar, to look for something, pagar, to pay, the GAR ending, and almorzar, to have lunch. Verbs like these ending in car, gar, and sar are going to be irregular only in the yo form when you are using the preterite, when you want to write a sentence or to say something in the preterite. Example, like buscar, to look for something. Instead of saying busqué with the C, we're going to switch the C for the Q-U-A. And that is because we need the sound of ka, ka. If I keep the C in the yo form, it doesn't sound like ka, it would sound like se. But we need the ka sound with the Q. Busqué. From there, we go back to our pattern. Aste, o, amos, asteis, aron. It's an AR verb, and the preterite is just going to be we're going to modify the C for the Q and U in the first person, which is in the yo form. I hope that you find this part helpful. Then we have the ga, gar. Which one is that? Jugar, pagar, jugar, remember to play. When you want to say I played in the yo form, of course, you need to switch the the G. You're not going to change the G, I'm sorry. You're going to add the U to make the sound of reggae, jugué. And from there, it goes to the regular conjugation. Jugué, jugaste, jugó, jugamos, jugaron. Pagar, to pay. Pagué la cuenta con la tarjeta de crédito. Yo pagué mi blusa con la tarjeta de crédito. Llegar, to arrive. Llegué, llegaste. That is another example with the GAR verbs. If you see, we're changing, just adding in the first person. And with the Q, explicar, expliqué. We have the Z, almorzar, is going to change the Z for the C. Almorcé, almorzaste, almorzó, almorzamos, almorzasteis, y almorzaron. Always remember, we are talking about the preterite. We need our endings. Aste, o, amos, aron. Of course, the aste is, of course, in Spain is used, but that is optional in our class. If you just to review the preterite, remember, a preterite action is terminated or completed in the past. Also, it's an action that occupies limited period of time. I went to the gym from 9 to 10 a.m. in the past. And also we have an action with a specific and indicated beginning or ending, which is pretty much the same example that I gave you before as well. El concierto comenzó a las 7. The concert started at 7. I started working in the project yesterday. Be sure to use, when you are using the preterite in writing down sentences, be sure to use in page 207, you will see that you have really good expressions like yesterday, last year, last weekend. Always start your sentences with that word in the past. Yesterday, last week. Always remember your actions in the preterite, you did them only once. Okay? So I hope you find this video helpful. Let me know. Send me an email with your comments. Gracias y hasta luego. Adiós.